Good morning, everyone. It's Rod Fleming in the Philippines here, and I wish you all a wonderful new year. I hope that 2023, or whatever you call it, where you are, is a great year for you. I hope that's wonderful. And please remember, we do need the money, so go to one of our sites, donate a little something. Today we're going to be talking about a lady in England, and no, it's not the Queen. She's dead anyway.
Before I ask you any questions about what's going on today, I have to caution you, which is just your rights, which is you do not have to say anything. It may harm your defence if you do not mention one question, something which you later on in court, anything you do say may be given. What are you here for today?
Physically, I'm just standing here.
Okay. Why here of all places? I know you don't live nearby.
But this is an abortion centre.
Okay, that's why you're stood here. Is you standing here part of the protest?
No, I'm not protesting.
Are you praying?
I might be praying in my head, but not out loud.
So I'll ask you once more, will you voluntarily come with us now to the police station for me to ask you some questions about today and other days where there are allegations that you've broken public spaces protection order?
If I've got a choice, then no.
Okay, well then you're under arrest on suspicion of failing to comply with the Public Spaces Protection Order, which is under the Anti-Social Behaviour Crime Policing Act 2014. Now, of course, you do not have to say anything. It may harm your defence if you do not mention one question, something which you later on in court, anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand the caution?
I do, yes.
Your arrest is necessary in order for the prompt and effective investigation into the offence. What that means is so that I can ask you some questions because you want to commit one and also to protect vulnerable people, mainly service users of the clinic. Okay, so you'll accompany us now to the police station. You'll get booked in front of the custody sergeant, and then if you want a solicitor, you can have a solicitor on the link. Okay.
This lady's called Isabel Vaughan-Spruce. Okay, that's not like the German Vaughan, that's Vaughan -Spruce. That's a hell of a moniker. Anyway, she was arrested in Birmingham, England on December the 6th, and what she was actually doing, we'll consider the law in a minute, what she was actually doing was standing in a public street opposite an abortion centre which was closed at the time, and she was silently praying. That is, she was just standing there doing nothing, apparently. I mean, you couldn't tell that she was praying, she was standing there. Of course, what happened was that somebody alerted the police that she was there, and it took 3 officers to arrest this little old lady who was doing nothing but standing, praying silently. British police are really, really low grade these days. 3 officers to arrest one little old lady. They searched her hair. Why would you search somebody's hair? Do you think she had lice? What the It's just degrading. It's just deliberate degrading of a human being. But unfortunately, that's what you get in Britain these days. That's what your cops are. Scumbags. Anyway, let us go on from this. She was thinking, right? So whatever you have to say about the PSPO, or the law that this happened under, and I'll discuss that in a minute, the actual offence that she committed was thinking. It was a thought crime. So in Britain today, there are thought crimes, and there is a thought police. The British police are now thought police. They will arrest people under certain circumstances for thinking. For thinking. You know, I've said before in some of the comments that, I'm actually a pagan. I'm a goddess worshipper. I am a cultural Christian because I was brought up in the Presbyterian church, right? In a Presbyterian tradition, really. I mean, we stopped going to church when I was like 12, I guess. But I am a goddess worshipper, right? I do worship the goddess. I pray to her every day. And I know she's real, I know she's there, and I know she protects me and looks after me. And if you don't like that, too fucking bad. That's what I am. You don't have to be a Christian to see the ridiculousness of what's going on here, by the way. So I'm not a Christian. I'm not protesting because I'm trying to support another Christian. I'm trying to support a human being who was arrested for thinking bad thoughts. For thinking things that somebody else didn't want her to think. So let's look at what she was doing. She was standing outside, or on the other side of the road, actually, some distance away from an abortion centre which was closed. Now, it was closed. So what was the problem? Presumably, the provision which had been put in place, and I'll discuss it in a minute, was there to protect people who were going to have abortions or perhaps who worked in this abortion clinic, and who didn't want to be reminded that what they were doing was murdering babies. Simple as that. Abortion is the murder of babies. There's no way around that one. It's the deliberate ending of a human life. That's murder. And so somehow along the line we've got this idea that, oh no, these people, oh, we can't possibly say to them, look, maybe you'd like to think about what you're doing, before you go ahead with this. Maybe you like to think a bit about how it is you make your money before you go in and go to work to do this thing that you do. I'm not stupid enough to believe that Isabel Vaughan-Spruce, who is quite well known, let's be fair, did not provoke this situation deliberately. She obviously did. She did it in the run-up to Christmas. Unfortunately, what happened was that the mainstream media suppressed the story. They didn't want it going out, so that when it should have been getting its maximum coverage in the run-up to Christmas, and pointing out, Britain is actually a Christian country. The King is a Christian. He is the defender of the Christian faith. It's a Christian fucking country. And you're not allowed to pray silently in the street in a Christian country? You people have got problems. Let's go back to Isabel. I'm not dumb enough to think she didn't set this up. Of course she did. And the police, like fish, swallowed it hook, line and sinker. An intelligent person, a person with some fucking nous, would have gone, you know what, I'm not falling for that one. Bye-bye, the centre is closed. Clearly nobody is being offended by your presence because the centre is closed. And we'll just let that one stick to the wah, as we say in Scotland. But no, the British police are just too stupid, aren't they? So they went in with 3 officers to arrest this woman who was just standing there silently thinking, and now we've got this problem. Now, so that you understand, the reason that the police were able to make this arrest is because there is a law in the UK which allows for local authorities to put in place what's called a Public Space Protection Order, or PSPO. A PSPO is intended to stop antisocial behaviour. Unfortunately, the terms of the law which provides for the establishment of a PSPO include prayer under the heading of protest. And protest is banned in a zone around a designated facility, in this case an abortion clinic. Now, I don't think that it's in any way reasonable to prevent people from peacefully protesting anywhere. That's ridiculous. This is a classic case of government overreach. And it's also a classic case of extremely bad wording in a law. I wasn't obviously there when this law was being debated, but it is a fact that in parts of Britain, including Birmingham, there have been, in over several years, there have been big problems because of large groups of Muslim men blocking the streets, setting out their prayer mats, and praying to Mecca 5 times a day. And absolutely no traffic could go through. Pedestrians couldn't go through because they blocked the entire street. Right? Now, if you don't, clearly, that's unacceptable. You can't have that sort of thing. In the same way as you can't have, idiot greenists destroying paintings or lying down in front of on the motorway because they've got some stupid idea that there's a climate crisis, which there isn't. All these things are ridiculous. Yes, totally right. Yes, you shouldn't be allowed to do it. But if you can't see the difference between 150 Muslim men, all looking like refugees from the northwest frontier province, which actually is probably what they are anyway, totally occupying a street and preventing all trade, commerce or passage, you can't see the difference between that and one little woman standing there silently praying in her head, then you have a problem. You have a problem of perspective, and you have a problem of understanding what she was doing. This is what she was doing. That's what she was doing. I was just praying to the goddess. Could you tell that? No, you fucking couldn't. You're just looking at a person who's sitting there, saying nothing, doing nothing, and apparently, and this is used to arrest this woman. She could go to jail for 2 years. Now, I don't think that whatever it is there, I guess it would be West Midlands Police, I don't really know, they keep reorganising the police forces in Britain. I don't know which ones it is this time, but I have a really strong feeling that the Crown Office in the local area, when they get back to their desks tomorrow, they're going to take a look at this and go, wait a fucking minute. You really think we're going to take this to court? And if they do, they're stupider than a really, really stupid thing. I mean, really, really stupid, because they are going to be made to look like total idiots and worse. The same is true of Birmingham City Council. They're going to have to stand back and go, wait a minute. We need to rephrase what we're saying here. We're not talking about just one little old lady. I mean, it's a different thing. You've got 150 Muslims parked outside the building. Yeah, okay, that's enough to warrant some attempted dispersion, shall we say. And then you have to look at the central government, the utterly useless Tory government, complete set of utter plonkers. Who put this damn thing in place in the first place? And you go, what? Have you actually stopped reading English? Do you not know what it actually means? Are you so addled with stupidity that you don't realise that the reason this was allowed to happen was because you made a law that permitted it? It's incredible. Now, I want to come back a little bit here. I have been roundly attacked. I'm used to that. Because people are saying, well, she broke the law. Well, yeah, she did. If you know me, you know that I believe that unjust laws do not merit compliance. Yeah, you might have to go to jail. Too fucking bad. The point is, the law is wrong. The law is evil, and the law should be changed. And if the only way that you can impress upon government that you need it to change is to break it, then go ahead and break it. This is government at both a central and local level trying to mandate what people can think. It's thought policing. In what nightmare dystopian world do you think thought policing is permissible? Well, that's what they want. They want, and it's the whole fucking establishment from the WEF, the UN down, the WHO, they want people to be controlled in what they can think, not just what they can say. This case is evidence. It's not just speech, it's thinking. You are not allowed to think thoughts that they don't like. That's thought policing. And I don't care. Okay, so it was a PSPO. Yeah, there are probably situations wherein PSPOs are quite reasonable. It's just that the law itself is extremely badly worded, and in this case it was obviously inappropriately applied. But yeah, I can completely, sorry, that's the church next door they're singing. I can completely understand that if you had, violent protests or, large-scale peaceful protests even going on outside this clinic, well, I could think that's debatable. I think they should be allowed. I don't have anything doubt about that at all. I think all peaceful protest is reasonable. If you remember back, I'm an old guy, remember back Greenham Common, and protesters parked for years outside the US military base there, which had nuclear weapons on it, and nobody arrested them for thinking, oh my God, the government is wrong to let this happen. Thought policing wasn't a thing then. It is now. And you have to understand what's going on here. Government overreach is now accelerated to the point where it's probably unstoppable. They used incidents like Dunblane, like Hungerford, to take away all the guns. They've already taken most of the guns. They've completely disarmed the population. So they're not afraid of the population anymore. They know they can do what the fuck they like, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Because all they have to do is send in some riot police, and if necessary, the military, and they'll shoot people. And don't think the government won't do that. Yes, they will. They will shoot people. They will kill people if they think that that's the only way they can preserve their authority. I mean, it turns out the English are a bunch of sheep, and they went along with all the bloody nonsense that they had to put up with during COVID. The COVID farce, where people were locked up for 2 years, weren't allowed to go to the funerals of their relatives, weren't allowed to go and see their loved ones in the hospital, weren't even allowed to have sex because of a bad cold. Let's not forget that one. And people go, Oh, let's go. Believe the government. Believe the government. Always believe the government. They always know best. And it was a government that herded Jews into cattle trucks in 1938 and 39 and 40 and 41 and 42 and 43 and 44. And you know what they did then, don't you? You know what government is. Unless government is kept under control, it is capable of monstrous, absolutely monstrous evil. And no, I don't see a huge difference between the government that was in place in Germany, the Nazis, in 1938, and the government that is incumbent in the UK today. I don't see much difference. I really don't. I mean, okay, so the government in Britain, they're not going to go starting to round up populations and put them in concentration camps, but when it comes to little old ladies, yeah, no problem, yes, we'll round those fuckers up. It's just a matter of degree. It's not a matter of substance at all. It's just that the Western government remains somewhat afraid of its population. And so it bloody should be. I don't believe Isabel Vaughan-Spruce was just, happened to be there. I mean, she said, I go there regularly to pray. She's the director of March for Life UK, which is an anti-abortion charity, which I support fully, 100% support. This lady has my total support in everything. And yes, I am absolutely certain, I haven't spoken to her obviously, but I am absolutely certain that she had a pretty good idea what was going to happen. She's not a stupid lady, and she knew the PSPO was there. She knew why it was there. And she knew that the police were actually stupid enough to do this. And yes, she was right. They really are that stupid. So, I'm just looking forward to what's going to happen over the next week or two. I mean, as far as Vaughan-Spruce is concerned, no. I mean, the maximum punishment for this particular offence is 2 years in prison. I don't think she's ever going to see the inside of a jail. If she is convicted, then she will appeal, and this will drag on. This will drag on for years. And every time it comes up, it's more embarrassment for the government, because they put in place the provision of thought policing, which is unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable for a government to say that it can control what a person thinks. Let me just make it clear here. Under British law, you cannot be arrested for planning a crime. You're thinking about robbing a bank. You're thinking about kidnapping somebody. You're thinking about murdering someone. And let's be honest, most of us at some stage or another of our lives have seriously thought about fucking topping some asshole who got in their face. You can't be arrested for that. No crime was committed. There are areas in the Terrorism Act where if they can prove that you were seriously contemplating committing or enabling a terrorist offence, then yeah, that can happen. But it's still not an easy proof. They still need evidence. There's no evidence here. This is just one little lady praying in her head, silently. And I have to say, it's just cause. Abortion is murder. There's no way around that. There's no clever little get out that can let you say abortion's all right. It's really cool. What? Just a clump of cells? Have you ever seen an embryo? Ever seen a fetus? It's not a clump of cells. After 7 days, it's recognisably an animal, and after 10 weeks, it's recognisably human. These are not clumps of cells. These are individual human beings whom abortionists and those who employ them murder. They make their livings from murdering babies. I don't have any time for these people. I don't care what happens to them. These are serial murderers, and yet they're still walking around the streets. Why would I have any sympathy for them? But that's not the point here. The point is that a law was put in place which prevents you from even thinking in certain places. If the local local bloody council, the council can decide, you're not gonna be praying in that space. No, we won't let you think. We won't let you think what we don't want you to think. And if you don't see how wrong that is, then well, Britain's finished. I mean, we all just have to accept that Britain is absolutely finished. The destruction began with Tony Blair. Actually, in a way, it started with John Major, but he was so completely incompetent that he wasn't actually any good at it. But Tony Blair was both competent and evil, and remains evil. A man who was determined to destroy Britain in every way possible. He's a Trotskyist. He was always a Trotskyist. He was a Trotskyist at university, and he just pretended he wasn't. Later on, he is, amongst many, want to see the establishment of a global world order which will be communist. And that's the one who started. That's when it happened. 1997, when the British electorate was stupid enough to vote in Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. That's when all this really started. And now it's totally out of hand. There is no hope for Britain now. It's finished. You had an opportunity when you left Europe, 2016, when you had that incredible vote to say, right, we've had enough of this crap, we're getting out of here. You had a chance then to change it. You had a chance then to roll things back, to put in place a free libertarian state. And you didn't. You fucked it up completely. Beginning to end, total, complete and utter putsch screw. And so now we have little ladies in the street being arrested for what they're thinking. Well done. Champion job. Excellent. Clap, clap, clap. I'm amazed. You know, I never had a lot of time for the English. I always thought they were a bunch of plonkers. And now it's, what can you say? What can you say? This is the people who are actually allowed their government to put laws in place that mandate what they think. What they're allowed to think. And the only thing that's really funny about it is the Scots are even fucking worse. They have allowed a government, that's my people, the country I love by the way, have allowed what is essentially a Marxist cabal to set the laws in Scotland. And they're not doing anything about it. You know, seriously, the whole damn thing should be torn apart. Destroyed. People tarred and feathered and trundled around the old town in barrows, wheelbarrows. But no. We're just going to let it happen because we're such nice, peaceful people. Yeah, that's exactly what they thought. Exactly what they thought in Germany, 1938. Just leave it to the government. They know best. Mugs. You're mugs, every one of you. Bye-bye. Oh, and I hope for my US-can friends, I'll do a wee thing on that US-can bit, because there's Stanford University, I think it's called, has come out with a whole bunch of absolute crap, you know, of politically correct speak, which, you know, what we should really do is take that and make it the inverse. What we say is exactly the opposite of what they say, because they're total plonkers. They really are. Anyway, that's for another time. Have a great year. Have a lovely 2023. Make it a wonderful year. And for goodness sake, stop giving the government power over your life. Just tell them no. No, we won't comply. No. No unjust law should ever be complied with. It's your duty to break unjust laws. Your duty. Even though that might mean that you will get a prison sentence. It's still your duty. If the only thing that government will understand is large numbers of people simply disregarding the laws it makes, then you have to do it. Take care, be good, may the goddess go with you. Bye.